Hello, students. Welcome to lesson number 7, Glimpses of India. Today, we'll be beginning with the lesson A Baker from Goa, written by Lucio Rodriguez. Now, what images of people and of places come to your mind when you think of a country? What parts of India have you lived in or visited? Can you name some popular tourist destinations? You may know that apart from the British, the Dutch, the French, the Portuguese have all played a part in the history of our country. Can you say which parts of India show French and Portuguese influences? And can you say which parts of India grow tea or coffee? These are several questions to be kept in mind before we do the lesson. Now, this particular lesson, A Baker from Goa, is a pen portrait of a traditional Goan village baker who still has a very important place in society. Children, let us begin with this lesson. A baker from Goa revolves around the relevance of a baker in the Goan culture, which dates back to the time when the Portuguese ruled over the city of Goa. The Portuguese may have left India, but the bread makers continue to have a very important position in Goan society. In this story, the author recalls his childhood days and their excitement on seeing the basket. They were enthusiastic to the point that they would run to him as soon as they woke up without even brushing their teeth. So now let us begin reading. Our elders are often heard reminiscing nostalgically about those good old Portuguese days. The Portuguese and their famous loaves of bread. Those eaters of loaves might have vanished, but the makers are still there. We still have amongst us the mixers, the molders, and those who bake the loaves. Those age old, time tested furnaces still exist. The fire in the furnaces has not yet been extinguished. So, in the introduction of the lesson, what the writer is trying to tell us is that all the old people always think about the past times. Reminiscing is thinking very fondly about the past. Like, you hear people talking of those good old days that are no longer there just now, and they think of it with great love, with great fondness. So, the Goan elders often talk about those good old Portuguese days when the Portuguese ruled over Goa, and the Portuguese were people who loved eating loaves of bread. So today the Portuguese are not there. They have vanished, means they have gone away. They've left the country and gone. But the ones who made the bread, they are still there. And we still have among us the ones who mix the flour and the dough, like, and the molders, the ones who, like, mold that dough into bread, and the ones who bake the loaves. So there are different people. They are all specialized in doing those things. Some people mix the ingredients, the others mold them, and there are others who bake the loaves. So these age old, time tested furnaces means ovens still exist, and the fire has not been extinguished, means the fires have not gone out. Now, let us continue reading. The thud and the jingle of the traditional baker's bamboo heralding his arrival in the morning can still be heard in some places. Maybe the father is not alive, but the son still carries on the family profession. These bakers are even today known as poder in Goa. During our childhood in Goa, the baker used to be our friend, companion, and guide. He used to come at least twice a day, once when he set out in the morning on his selling round, and then again when he returned after emptying his huge basket. The jingling thud of his bamboo woke us up from sleep, and we ran to meet and greet him. Why was it so? Was it for the love of the loaf? Not at all. The loaves were bought by some paskin or bastin, the maidservant of the house. What we longed for were those bread bangles which we chose very carefully. Sometimes it was sweet bread of special make. So here, as we can see, children, that what the writer is saying, that they used to wait very eagerly for the baker to come every day, every day the baker used to come, and how he used to announce heralding is announcing. He would announce his arrival there in the village by, making the sound. He had a bamboo stick, and that made a kind of a jingling thud. So they're saying that maybe the olden days bakers are not there, but today those bakers' sons still carry on the family profession. And these bakers, even today, are known as poder. And he said that the baker, when the author Lucio was a child, he said the baker was their friend, he was their companion, and he was their guide. And he used to come, they used to meet him at least twice a day. Once when he set out in the morning on his selling spree, he used to take the huge basket and he would go around the whole village. So he would, meet them once, and then the second time again. They are saying, and why did they wait for him so eagerly? The reason was that, did they love the bread so much? Did they love the loaves of bread? No, not at all. The maidservants by the name of Paskin or Bastin, they used to buy the loaves. But what they waited and longed for was the baker used to come with special bread bangles. You have seen bangles, women wearing bangles, right, children? So, in the same way, like you have donuts, no? They use in Goa, they get bread which are called bangles. And those children used to wait, the author used to wait for those bread bangles, and they chose them very carefully and put them around their wrist. So, and sometimes it was sweet bread, which was special in the way it was made. Now, let us continue reading further. The baker made his musical entry on the scene with the jung jung sound of his specially made bamboo staff. One hand supported the basket on his head, and the other banged the bamboo on the ground. He would greet the lady of the house with good morning and then place his basket on the vertical bamboo. We kids would be pushed aside with a mild rebuke. Rebuke means scolding, and the loaves would be delivered to the servant. But we would not give up. We would climb a bench or the parapet and peep into the basket somehow. I can still recall the typical fragrance of those loaves. Fragrance is the aroma, the scent of those loaves. Loaves for the elders and bangles for the children. Now, then we did not even care to brush our teeth and wash our mouths properly. And why should we? Who would take the trouble of plucking the mango leaf for the toothbrush? And why was it necessary at all? The tiger never brushed his teeth. Hot tea could wash and clean everything so nicely after all. So, Lucio, the author, has wonderful memories of his childhood in that he spent in Goa. He says that the baker used to come and they would meet him. He was a friend, companion, and guide. They would meet him at least twice a day. That means it was a daily routine for them to meet the baker. And the maidservants used to buy the loaves of bread, but they waited to specially buy the bangles of bread and sweet bread from the baker. And he said that loaves for the elders, they have bread made of the husk. Like for especially people having diabetes and things like that, they would have special kind of bread for the older people, and they would have bangles for the children because children used to wear those bangles and then eat those bangles. Then the author also says that as children they were not concerned about brushing their teeth, washing their mouth. And he said, why should we do that? Because we used to go and take a mango leaf and use that, the stem of that, as a toothbrush. And he said, why was it necessary to brush one's teeth? The tiger never brushes his teeth, and in the morning, having hot tea, that would clean up everything so nicely. So, let us continue reading further. Marriage gifts are meaningless without the sweet bread known as bowl, just as a party or a feast loses its charm without bread. Not enough can be said to show how important a baker can be for a village. The lady of the house must prepare sandwiches on the occasion of her daughter's engagement. Cakes and bolillas are a must for Christmas as well as other festivals. Thus, the presence of the baker's furnace in the village is absolutely essential. So, again, the author stresses that how not bread were a part and parcel of their lives, that no day could be separated from bread. starting from morning breakfast to lunch to dinner, bread was a necessary component of their food. And they used to wait very eagerly for the baker to come and to talk to him. And, like, the children waited to buy those bread bangles from him. But what he also stresses is that their whole life revolved around that of a baker. For example, when people got married, marriage gifts were meaningless. They had to have a sweet bread which is known as bowl, and that, just as a party or a feast would lose its charm without having bread. And not enough could be said to show how important a baker was for the village. The lady of the house had to prepare sandwiches on the occasion of her daughter's engagement. So that was how important bread was. When people got engaged, the mother of the girl, of the say bride, would prepare sandwiches for which he needed bread. And other important things were cakes and boliyas. Boliyas are like small little cookies. They're small little biscuits made of rava and other things. So they were a must not only for festivals but Christmas as well. Thus, the presence of the baker's furnace, that means of uh, uh, the baker's oven, was very, very important in the lives of the people. The baker or the bread seller of those days had a very peculiar dress known as the kabai. It was a single piece long frock reaching down to the knees. In our in our childhood, we saw bakers wearing a shirt and trousers, which were shorter than full length ones and longer than half pants. Even today, anyone who wears a half pant, which reaches just below the knees, invites the comment that he is dressed like a poder. So, the way the baker dressed up was also very peculiar. And what it was called a kabai. It was a single piece long frock, like a dress, no? It reaching down to the knees. But when the author Lucio was a child, he saw bakers wearing a shirt and trousers. Now, trousers were not up to the ankles, but they were longer than the knees but shorter than the full length ones. So, even today, if anyone wears a pant like that, then people call him a baker, they call him a poder. Then the baker usually collected his bills at the end of the month. Monthly accounts used to be recorded on some wall in pencil. Baking was indeed a profitable profession in the old days. The baker and his family never starved. He, his family, and his servants always looked happy and prosperous. Their plump physique was an open testimony to this. Even today, any person with a jackfruit like physical appearance is easily compared to a baker. Then the author goes on to say that the baker was like a friend, a companion, a guide to all the village people, and they never paid him every day for the bread that they bought. He usually collected his bills at the end of the month. That means all the people settle their accounts at the end of the month, and monthly accounts used to be recorded on some particular wall using a pencil. And baking was a very profitable profession. That means the baker earned a lot of money. The baker and his family never starved. That means they never had to go hungry. And what was the reason for that? All the people in Goa ate bread. They loved eating bread. So did the Portuguese. And so the business, bread baking business, cake, biscuits, cookies, all these things, no, the whole year round, they never lacked work. So the baker, his family, did very well indeed. And not only that, he, his family, and his servants always looked happy and prosperous. They looked very well to do. And their plump physique means their pleasantly fat bodies were an open testimony. That means it was a statement about the character or quality of the person. So even today, anyone with a jackfruit like physical appearance, that means a plump appearance, is easily compared to that of a baker. So, children, I hope you have understood this lesson well. What did we see in this lesson? A baker. From, from this lesson, we learn that this is a pen portrait of a baker. And the baker was so important that everyone's lives were intertwined with that of the baker. They could not even think what life would be like without bread, without the bangles, without the cakes, without the marriage bowls, without the sweet bread. And so, all these things without sandwiches, whenever there was an engagement, there were always sandwiches to be made by the girl's mother, and that ceremony was incomplete without bread. So, all this goes on to show how, even today, even though the Portuguese are no longer there, people still maintain their culture and their traditions. They have not departed from that. Now, I hope you have understood this lesson well. Let us see the oral comprehension check. Match the following. What is a must? As a marriage gift, a sweet bread called bowl. For a party or for a feast, what do they have? Cakes. For they have bread. For a daughter's engagement, they have sandwiches. And for Christmas, they have cakes and bolinhas. What did the baker wear in the Portuguese days when the author was young? Just a minute, children. So, here, what did the baker wear in the Portuguese days? They wore a long dress like thing that was called a kabai. And when the author was young, he saw them wearing shirts and pants. But the pants were longer than the knees but shorter than the full pants. Who invites the comment that he is dressed like a poder? Even today, anyone wearing, like, trousers or pants like that of the baker, people still call him a poder because they are reminded of the olden day baker. Where were the monthly accounts of the baker recorded? They were recorded on some wall with a pencil. And what does a jackfruit like appearance mean? It means somebody who is plump, somebody who's not skinny but is well to do, a fat rounded body. Now, thinking about the text, which of these statements are correct? Let us see. The Poder was an important person in the village in old times. Yes, he was an important person. Then the next one, the second one, Poders still exist in Goan villages. Yes, that too is true. The Poders went away with the Portuguese. No. Number four, the Poders used to continue to wear a single piece of long frock. No, that is not true. Bread and cakes were an integral part of Goan life in the old days. That sentence is true. Then, traditional bread baking is still a very profitable business. Yes, it is a very profitable business. Podders and their families starve in the present times. No, that is not true. Even today, bakers are very, very important. Now, is bread an important part of Goan life? How do we know that? Well, in the lesson, it is given very clearly that bread is extremely important. It, occupies a very important place in Goan life because right from like festivals to engagements to marriage and in their everyday life, that means no one can do without bread. Even though the Portuguese have left Goa, the bakers still bake bread with the mixers, with the molders, and the age old furnaces. Even today, he is a baker is very important. And marriage and gifts are meaningless without the sweet bread called bowl. Then cakes and sandwiches. Every morning, one can hear the poder carrying out the family business by going from street to street with the bamboo baskets selling different types of bread. Then, the next one, tick the right answer. What is the tone of the author when he says this? Now, the thud and the jingle. What is the tone of the author when he says this? The first one is nostalgic. That means he remembers the things of the past. Maybe the father is not alive, but the son still carries on the family profession. The second one is hopeful. The third one, I still recall the typical fragrance of those loaves. That means that is nostalgic. He is remembering the past. The next one, the tiger never brushed his teeth. Hot tea could wash and clean up everything so nicely after all. Now, that is a very funny statement. And the last one, the next one is cakes and bolinhas are a must for Christmas as well as other festivals. Well, that one is a very matter of fact thing. Then the last one, the baker and his family never starved. They always looked very happy and prosperous. That is matter of fact. That means that is a true fact. Then, writing. In this extract, the author talks about traditional bread baking during his childhood days. The first one, the way the bread was baked in the furnace as it is done today. Then, the way the poder sold bread, having a basket on the head, and he used to have a bamboo stick in his other hand and he used to wander around. Then, what the poder wore. The poder wore shirt and short pants. When the poder was paid at the end of the month. All bills were settled at that time. How the poder looked. He looked very funny due to his dress. Then compare the piece from the text on the left below with the other piece on Goan bakers on the right. What makes the two texts so different? Are the facts the same? Both the writers give you a picture of the baker. Well, let us read and find out. Now, our elders are often heard reminiscing nostalgically about those good old Portuguese days. The Portuguese, their famous loaves of bread, those eaters of loaves might have vanished, but the makers are still there. We still have amongst us the mixers, the molders, and those who bake the loaves. Those age old time tested furnaces still exist. The fire in the furnaces had not yet been extinguished. The thud and the jingle of the traditional baker's bamboo, heralding his arrival in the morning, can still be heard in some places. Maybe the father is not alive, but the son carries on the family profession. And the next one, which is to the right, it is adapted from Nandakumar Kamat's The Unsung Life of Goan Poders. After Goa's liberation, that means after Goa was free from the Portuguese government, from the Portuguese rule, people used to say nostalgically that the Portuguese bread vanished with the Podes, but the Podes have managed to survive because they have perfected the art of door to door delivery service. The Podes pick up the knowledge of bread making from traditions in the family. The leavened, oven baked bread is still a gift of the Portuguese to India. Well, the topic of both the texts is the same as they deal with the poders, that means it deals with the bread makers and bakers of Goa. Both the texts talk about them when they flourished during the Portuguese rule and how oven baked bread is a gift of the Portuguese to the Indians. They left Goa, but the tradition of baking bread still continues till today. The first further tells us how the tradition is still carried on, and the second doesn't describe much about the present in detail. So, children, I hope you have understood this lesson well. Now, you must read this lesson and write the question answers in your notebook. Now, find a travel brochure about the place you have visited, look at the description, and then write your own account. This one you need not do. Then, group discussion. Since there is no school and class right now, so group discussion we will leave. In the next lesson, we will be doing the next lesson that is about Coorg. So, thank you, children, and have a nice day.